All right, so whoa, shaky desk. All right, so if you woke up this morning wondering how certain LinkedIn Chrome extensions can do the magic that they can do, well, I also woke up wondering that, and so I'm going to now share it with you. I'm going to blow it wide open. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Um, First, I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So, LinkedIn Chrome extensions. Um, this is just an example. It's called Walaxy. It's actually seems like a pretty good product. But if you open it up, you can see how crazy it actually is from like a technical standpoint at first. Like when I first looked at this Chrome extension and I was trying to think about like how is this actually working in the back end, I was really confused and I was a bit shocked, to be honest. So basically, like you can do a lot of stuff through this extension with your LinkedIn profile. You can actually message people in your inbox just from the extension. And so yeah, you see it's basically just like a reflection of your LinkedIn UI. You can message people, you can send connection requests, you can visit people's profiles, you can do a lot of things that you can do on LinkedIn. And so at first I was just like, how on earth is this possible? Like, how is this working? I was so confused. But yeah, I figured out how it's working. So essentially, okay, so the reason I thought that this was so shocking for a Chrome extension to do this is because when you go to the LinkedIn API documentation, which is right here, once this loads, you can see that you can actually only do these things if you get access to the compliance API. And to get access to the compliance API, you need to be a company that fits a whole bunch of requirements. And yeah, it's definitely not what like this company is at all. Like this company does not fit. There's no way that they would get compliance API privileges from LinkedIn, especially because they seem to be so stingy with letting companies use their API and stuff. So yeah, I looked at the API documentation. I was like, okay, that's not it. They're definitely not using the API. And how on earth are they doing this? Like, how can you just do everything you can do in LinkedIn from an app? So the way that it's working is every time you edit the state of your LinkedIn account through taking whatever action, whether it's making a post, sending a message, following someone, unfollowing someone, or searching in the search bar, it's actually this front end is actually hitting something called a Voyager API. That's what the API is called. It's some kind of external resource that LinkedIn uses in their application to get all of their data and to kind of log all of the state changes that you make in your front end. So yeah, you can actually see those API requests if you go into the developer tools and you look at the network, and then you reload your page, you'll see like API/Voyager. And so those are the calls that are being made to populate like all this data you see on the screen right now. All right, I don't know why this is going to take forever to load, so I'm not going to show you, but yeah, this front end makes calls to the Voyager API to populate everything you see on the screen. Anytime if I send my friend here a message, it's sending an API call to Voyager. And so the cool part about this is you, as just a normal person, can use the Voyager API. Like, it's not something you can use it with just the browser cookie on your web browser. So with LinkedIn, obviously you have to log in, right? They have a whole authentication process. And so what's happening when you're logging in is your browser is getting certain data from their servers, right? It's getting a bunch of browser cookies that are then stored in your browser. And then those browser cookies are acting as API keys for every subsequent request you send to the Voyager API. And it seems like a pretty normal, it is a pretty normal like way of authenticating, right? You get an API key and then you use that for all further requests. But just the way that's set up creates a whole vulnerability for literally anyone to come in and just like control your LinkedIn profile if they have the information, the specific information that your web browser holds in the form of cookies. So now I'm actually going to show you this, because even though it might take a second to load. And so cookies are things that your browser just stores. They're just pieces of information that your browser stores. That's like essentially it. Where are the cookies? Wow, it's so laggy. I'm not going to show my cookies because then someone could just mess with my whole LinkedIn account. But if you click on this right here, right, you'll be able to see all the cookies in your browser that are being stored by LinkedIn, the LinkedIn page. In here, you will find the cookie data you need to basically control everything in your LinkedIn like a god, without actually even being on your LinkedIn. So yeah, you can. So that's exactly how Walaxy does this, is because Chrome extensions are quite invasive. They have access to like everything, all the information in your browser. They can even edit like the current page you're on and stuff. It can do a lot of things in your Chrome browser. And so the second Walaxy, if you have Walaxy installed and you go on LinkedIn, you'll see that it automatically just somehow knows your LinkedIn user information, and then it starts prompting you to like import information from LinkedIn into the app. And yeah, it starts basically showing that it can kind of control your profile without actually having access to the API. So at first I was like, wow, that's crazy. How is this working? But so Walaxy is essentially reading the cookies in your browser and then using those cookies to make requests to the Voyager API. And that is exactly how they're able to, make an interface like this where you can send messages to your contacts and stuff like that. So I actually can show you how this works specifically. If you Google just like LinkedIn API, you'll come across a GitHub repository. And I just copied a bunch of code from the GitHub repository. I'll put the GitHub repository in the description, and I'll also put this code in a GitHub repository of my own, and I'll put that in the description. So, but essentially, this is what you do to hack your LinkedIn like a god. You need a bunch of this information. This is just like the URL. So this is what the URL looks like. LinkedIn.com/ and then you have the /Voyager/ API, and then you have a bunch of request headers, and yeah. And you can literally just do this with the sessions library. So all you do is create a request session. This doesn't even need to be there. That's updating the proxies, even though we're not using proxies. You're updating the request headers, which I think is pretty important. I'm assuming. I didn't try it without it, but. And then most importantly, you're updating the cookies. I'm not going to show you my cookies because you're going to be able to hack my LinkedIn account, but that's the most important part. You can literally copy the cookies from your browser and then just put them into here, session.cookies.update cookies. And then you make sure you set the CSRF token. And then from there, I can actually show you this. So I'm going to send my friend this message, sup. I might need to completely refresh everything, but let's see. Oh my God, would you look at that? Sup. I literally just messaged someone on LinkedIn using Python. I think it's pretty cool. It's fire. That's fire. So yeah. You can build like basically whatever you want on top of LinkedIn using that information. So yeah, now you have it. You can do with that what you will. And so yeah, actually I'm going to show some more specific information. I'm going to show the cookie. I'm going to show the cookies that you need in order to actually do this. So yeah, if you clone this repo and run this, it should work for you as long as you just copy the cookies. Okay, so these are the cookies that you need to copy from your browser. And so yeah, you can just go into your browser tools in Chrome. Okay, they're closed, but you remember from earlier in the video where I went to show them. Go there and literally look for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cookies and just copy them in. And then once you have that, then you will basically be able to send any API requests to the Voyager API as if you were yourself using your LinkedIn profile. And so, yeah, that's about it. Just wanted to show that.